Hey y'all, today on the farm we have been getting relentlessly pounded by the wind for several weeks, 20-mile-an-hour winds during the day. It has been devastating the nearly completed greenhouse. We cannot work on the greenhouse in the wind because it just goes away. So this project's been a nightmare, but I want to take this opportunity to teach y'all how to clean up storm damage. I farm really close to the Gulf Coast here in the United States, so we get impacted by hurricanes annually, either a direct hit or we get skirted, get right by the edge of a hurricane every year. So got a lot of experience sawing up down trees, and that's what we have today, a humongous oak tree laying on the fence in the cow pasture. A lot of times the cleanup or the aftermath of a huge storm like a hurricane is actually more dangerous than the storm itself. There could be power lines down, there are trees laying on trees, and if you cut the wrong thing, you could find yourself in a bind. So it's very important to pay attention during the cleanup process. So what we got here is a really big oak tree. And as is typical with storm damage, it's not laying fully on the ground. It's in a incredibly dangerous position. It is being supported by limbs. And so if you come in here and just start sawing, this whole tree can fall on you and kill you easily. So we're gonna get a good full assessment of the situation, and then we're gonna get a plan together. You'll see my fence is partially damaged, but it's not fully damaged. If I were to saw this tree off, this would be maybe not the safest, but one of the more safer options would be to saw this tree close to the stump back here and let it fall completely down, which would totally destroy my fence. I had to rebuild a section of fence, and we may end up destroying part of the fence in the process anyway, but that would be a go ahead and let that happen from the get-go. That's still a little bit dangerous because of the precarious nature of this stump. Let's climb onto my neighbor's property and look at where this stump is at. The stump is located on the edge of a ravine. Looks like the tree split in half. Looks like it was growing here on the edge of this deep ravine, and maybe half of it broke off and went that way, and the other half fell over into my pasture. So can't really saw in here. If I did saw in here, as I cut that loose, this stump would give way and fall way down that hole, and that may take some of the ground with it that I'd be standing on. Plus this gigantic trunk may move backwards. You don't know how it's going to shift. It's being supported by its limbs, so it may shift this way. So as I sawed it loose, the log itself may force me into the gully, and that's no good. So we're not going to saw it loose in here. For those of y'all not familiar with the Southeast United States, wild grapes grow on everything down here. This is actually a wild grapevine. The only green leaves you see on the tree currently, this is a wild grapevine. And here is, some micro grape clusters. I don't know if you can see those little bitty clusters already forming. That is clusters of grapes, or what will become muscadine grapes. But muscadines grow all over everything down south. Very tasty, and they cover the woods. You can see them. Man, they're all over this tree, all over that. There's muscadines everywhere. These are muscadines. So yeah, free grapes grow everywhere down south. And a lot of times the grapevines are a part of the issue. So as a tree falls, the grapevines are wrapped all around, and they kind of restrict its movement and get it caught up or tangled up in a bind. And so as you cut some of these grapevines loose, sometimes the tree will go on and fall over. So I'm gonna get a full assessment. I believe what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna start by cutting every limb that's not holding weight. So anything I see that is not supporting the tree, anything that is unnecessary, we're going to start by removing it first. I am not endorsed by Stihl. However, as someone that uses a saw very often, I will not use any saw but a Stihl. This is my brand of choice. The key to effectively and safely cutting up the storm damage is to remove pieces that can be easily handled. Don't cut up too big of a piece. A lot of people like to go ahead and just saw off gigantic limbs. That's dangerous. I saw off the amount or the size I can easily pick up and drag out. So I saw off a bunch of pieces about 5 or 6 feet long, something like this. Go ahead and get them out of the way. I got a series of limbs that need sawing right here, 1, 2, and 3. And what you don't want to do is start with the top one, the easiest one, and saw it and then work your way down, because the top one's going to be laying on the next one. And when you go to saw it, it's going to put your saw in a bind. And if it don't, then by the time you get down to the third one, it will. And then your chainsaw will be stuck in the tree. So I'm going to start with the bottom one first, get it out of the way. I'm going to make a small relief cut on the bottom of it, and then chop it from the top, and then do it to the next one, and then to the next one, and then they'll all be on the ground. Another thing to keep in mind here is, as we remove significant portions of weight from this tree, the tree's going to want to pick back up some. I have seen them where the entire tree stood back up on the original stump hole. That's when it's got to be still attached, like this one is to the ground. If it's fully blown over and no longer attached to the ground, it won't do that. But this one still has roots in the ground, and so even if it doesn't stand completely back up, they will sometimes lift up 6 feet or 7 feet. And so you got to be prepared for this thing to move and twist and be anticipating any movements that might happen. I've gotten a lot of the minor debris cleared out now, a lot of the small branches. So this is where it gets uber dangerous. We gotta make some hard choices now. Start cutting big limbs, and the first thing I see is this limb here, this giant limb, is broke right here. It's broke again right there. So while it may have some weight right there, it's not structurally supporting the main trunk up here. So I can cut him loose right here, and that part will fall. This limb is supporting a pile of weight. This limb, although it doesn't touch right there, it actually touches out here, and it is supporting a lot of weight. I can't do nothing with it. It's holding the tree from rolling. This limb actually, I can budge some. All right, so I can cut this one loose, cut this one loose. It's free floating out here on the end. See, it's lightened up. So I'm gonna saw this one first, get it out of the way. Super important, as I saw off the first limbs that aren't holding weight, as I start to saw each one, I must check the next one to see if it has begun holding weight, because as we remove these big limbs, this tree is going to shift. Everything that's left on this tree now is holding weight. even that double broke limb, it is, as I removed all the limbs, this tree set down and it is holding a lot of weight on that double broke. So I can't remove anything else without risking a catastrophe. And this is the point, if it were at your home, leaning on your house, this is where you would call the professionals in to get them to handle it. Or if you have a bucket tractor like I have, or some way of picking it up, this is where you implement that. So what I'm going to do here, this is still too big for my tractor to hold it in its entirety, and it's too large. Besides being too heavy, it's too bulky also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the bucket in here, and where I have trimmed up my end, I'm going to support the tree. I'm going to stick that in the bucket and pick the tree up a little bit to take weight off all these branches that are on the ground. And once the weight is off them, I'm going to saw them loose. All right, I got all the excess off. It's still too much of a load, but I'm gonna see if I can get it started off in that hole. If I can ever shift that heavy trunk into the gully hole, get that momentum started, I think this baby's gonna roll, other than the hindrance of this tree right here. But let's see if we can get the momentum going in our... Well, I can't buzz the beast, so we're going to let it down, totally destroy the fence, saw it up, throw it in the hole. Well, we still got some of a fence. One thing that gets people in trouble a lot with this type of job is they're worried about trying to save a little bit of fascia board on their house or some shingles, or they're worried about trying not to mess up something structural, and then they end up getting hurt physically. Structural stuff can be repaired. Your life, your arms, your legs, that can't be easily fixed, and life can't be brought back. So structural damage, always better than physical damage. Not ideal, but it is what it is. Well, that's got it. We have the main large piece of trunk now on flat on the ground, so I can come in here with forks and pick it up and carry it off. This piece is still on the fence and it's still going back in the woods ways, but now that it is down, I can come in here with the saw and saw him off right here and be clear of the fence. The main thing is it is all down. It's no longer up overhead in the air where it is hyper dangerous. So the key here to removing large storm damage, large trees laying on your house or your fence or whatever, the main thing is you do storm damage just like you eat an elephant. One bite at a time. Don't get in a hurry. Don't take big bites. One limb, one bite at a time. Stay safe. Thank y'all for watching. Hope to see you next time.